Hey everybody, thank you so much for our next interview here at CPAC. I'm with Kevin McGary. Kevin, how are you doing today?
Oh, God bless you, brother. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
I tell you what.
What an incredible time we're having, right?
I tell you what, there's so many people here that are in the fight for freedom and the liberty. Yeah. I'm glad to see you here because I know you've been on my show before, and I know you're one of those people, that fight for our freedoms and liberties.
Always in the fight, baby.
Exactly right. We're gonna have you on again later, or a longer one. But for right now, though, where do you think that freedoms are most under attack in America?
Freedoms are most under attack with our three-letter agencies, with the guy that's occupying the White House right now, with our border policies. Everywhere you can possibly imagine, our freedoms are under attack. Okay.
Exactly.
So that means within the workplace, we had the guy in the White House do a overlay DEI, so an equity play over all levels and forms of government and all divisions 10 days ago. So that starts to immediately erode freedoms, right? And then now we have...
They covered that up in the news.
Oh, they covered it up, but and then, of course, the WHO, World Health Organization.
Exactly, they're trying to do that.
He's trying to subordinate our constitutional rights to the World Health Organization, which means they can literally, at any point, on any whim, they can say, hey, yo, there's a pandemic right now,
yeah, exactly.
and we're going to lock down all of America,
right.
And you can't do anything. So literally everything this guy does, every single policy, every single three-letter agency, in my opinion, is undermining our liberty and freedoms in America, and we've already one of the things I have with President Trump, he says, look, we will not be a socialist country. We've way past that now, President. That was the one thing that I could call him on. Look, you missed that one because, well, he didn't anticipate we'd have this change.
Exactly.
But the reality is we're full-blown Marxists and headed into communists. So that's...
This is scary.
Oh, it's scary times.
This is scary when people start giving their degrees of where they think our country is right now. Your needle is way over on that.
Yeah, and I'll challenge anybody to challenge me to prove it. I mean, you just look at what's happening. Look at how they're indoctrinating their kids. Look at how they're, how they're, doing all this government stuff. Look at how they're trying to, subordinate our U.S. Constitution to the World Health Organization. Look at how they're doing the digital currency. Look at how they're, everything is pointing to Marxism.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought the three-letter agencies. Everybody talks about freedom and liberty being, First Amendment, Second Amendment. And I always say, look, it's the three-letter agencies that are able to pass rules, regulations, policies, whatever you want to call them, without going through Congress. And so they're not being governed by even though they operate in our country, which is governed by our Constitution. It's almost like an express tunnel that goes through the Constitution. Absolutely. That they're able to use to get things passed that actually infringe on our freedoms and liberties.
These are unelected bureaucracies that are operating in the dark, right? Mm-hmm. This is what they call the deep state. Okay, these are unelected but highly powerful people that can make a dramatic change in our, and so that's the actual definition
and then they have
of tyranny.
Teeth, and they even have the teeth to enforce it.
Yeah, they do.
Exactly right.
Law enforcement.
And that's not even including all the local governments that are creating all the additional rules and laws, that we got to live by that slowly erode freedoms. So what would be your number one reason, number one thing that you think would be able to help prevent that, or something we can do to help stop it?
I think that we need to melt down the phone lines. Now, it's going to have somewhat of a marginal effect with some senators, but we need to help all senators understand that we are not willing to subordinate our Constitution to the World Health Organization or any other global outfit, all right? Number two, I don't know if we can do anything with the unelected bureaucracy, the deep state, working against us until we get a new president. I would encourage everybody to look carefully at our next presidential choices. There are some people that want a guy who has had great success in his state, but if you look at the allegiances with rhinos and with Soros and others who say, yeah, that's your guy, the problem with that is they're just trying to buy enough time. There's only 4 years that they need to have us fully under the Great Reset. And so if you take the next 2 and then you have your election, if that person that gets in the White House does not know exactly where to change the trajectory of the world stage immediately,
right,
like take us out of all the treaties and all that, and cut the bureaucracy and the deep state, that person is going to be there for the next couple of years trying to figure this stuff out, and by that time he figures it out, we're done. We're done. So we must be wise about, well, wait a minute, who is the only person on the planet that can go into the White House day one? He knows where all the bodies are buried, so to speak. All the all the three-letter agencies that need to be cut, all of the global agencies that need to be cut, because he has been brutally attacked, he and his family, for at least 6 years. There's only one person that fits that description. I'm not getting political here.
And what's that? Who's that? What's the name of that person?
Yeah, I got to figure that one out.
Actually, in today's environment, it's real easy to figure that out.
It's real easy. Yeah.
So right now, do you think that we actually have freedoms, or do we just have the perception of freedom right now?
Right now, I think that we're living under the illusion of freedom. I mean, quite honestly. Now, I mean, some of us have the freedom to go to work and go home. Okay. But the reality is when you look at the taxation policies and even more coming, you look at the budgetary priorities, you look at, again, the open borders. This is all an infringement on our ability to actually operate in the United States. When you look at the open borders and you look at the mayors in these major cities like New York, for instance, Eric Adams, who says, look, we've got all these illegals here. What we're going to do is we're going to put them up in 5-star hotels. We're going to feed them three meals a day. All have to be hot, because these illegals that come from all over the planet are throwing the food back at them if they're not hot meals. And then they're demanding, no, we're not going to leave our hotel. You need to find us a house. But while you have American cities on the street with nothing. So
and our veterans too.
And our veterans, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So a lot of the homeless are veterans. But when you have that and you have illegals that come here with nothing and then demand everything, come on, that's a huge erosion of our liberties and freedom, right?
Exactly.
So
you're amazing, Kevin. I love the spirit and the fire that you have in your heart that's coming out.
I'm ready to
work
fight,
on this
man.
country.
I'm at the tip of the spear in culture. We are every Black Lives Matters, every BLM.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so we are the righteous and faithful alternative to BLM. And so we're doing everything we can to help preserve America, and including actual training and certifications for for racial unity and diversity. We do that for corporations and that as well as small groups and communities. And we're looking forward to making sure that everybody is fully equipped to understand what's going on right now. I also have a book that I just wrote called Woked Up.
Oh yeah, your book Woked Up. Yeah. How can people get that?
You can go to Amazon and just type in Woked Up, WOKED up. And you'll get the book, and it's got all 5 stars. I mean, it's just crazy.
And let's point out that woke is different than being awake.
Yeah. So really, what I'm saying in this book is the reality is the people that project on us. You're a white Christian nationalist. You're a white supremacist. You're a white racist. And yes, I've been called a white supremacist many times by my brother-in-law, as a matter of fact. So I'm with you. I feel your pain. Here's the deal. The folks that do that, the wokesters, right? They are literally in full embrace of white supremacy and racism. They can't escape it. This is just part of the
they don't even realize.
They don't even realize it.
They're so entrenched into it. They don't even realize
that
so their own actions are some of the actions that they claim to be against. Yeah. One last question for you: in a country where I think that we are more divided than we've ever have been, how can we be more united? Or do we even need to be united?
That's an excellent question. Here, let me give you. So you heard about Angela Davis. She did her Ancestor.com and realized that her ancestors came over on the Mayflower. Here you have a radical black, right? And she has lily white ancestors. So here's the deal. The main thing that we must embrace, that we must understand, is that we are a multi-ethnic society. All of us.
Yeah, exactly. All of us.
I can't extract the white that's in my veins. You can't extract the black that's in yours. We're all. if we go back to our true ancestors, we're all. Come on,
exactly.
It's one human race.
Exactly right.
And so when we come to realize that we're all brothers, man. Yeah. We're trying to figure this thing out together. So let's stop the foolishness. Let's stop the crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and the only reason why we have different pigmentation is because when humans migrated from one part of the world to the other part of the world, their skin changed. They're adapted to the environment.
Exactly.
That's all it is. Like you said, the same human race.
Exactly.
And not to mention that they're doing research now. They're finding when you talked about this person that found out that she came from the Mayflower, we're also finding that a large percentage of free black people own other black people.
Oh yeah.
And so that makes it even more poignant that we are all one race.
All one.
And if
baby.
we all work together, we all come from the same origins at some point or another, that if we work together today, we can help each other get to where we need to be the most.
Absolutely. That's the point. And so to have racial unity, we need to just keep that as in our forefront of our thoughts. Look, we're all just trying to figure this thing out together. We're all brothers and sisters. It's all fine. No worries.
Kevin, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on my once again. We're going to have you on. We're going to have you on. I appreciate you. We're going to have you on a longer version. So watch for the longer one later. And we got more interviews coming up at CPAC here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.